Welcome to Happily Divorced with Karishma. Have you ever had one of those weeks where you just know before it starts that it's going to test you? That was this past week. And instead of letting it wreck me, I decided to do something very different. Today, I'm going to share exactly what that looked like, the wins, the naps, and the moment that my boyfriend told me that I handled it well. Let's begin. Welcome to another episode of Happily Divorced with Karishma. And oh my goodness, I just feel like it's just been a whirlwind of stuff. Sometimes life presents us challenges so we can find a way to come back to ourselves, to come back to our hearts, to come back to love, to come back to peace. And that is what I've had the privilege of doing in real time. This week specifically was like monumental for me with how I believe I handled all these crazy challenges. And I wanted to come on today and talk about what that looked like for me. So, moving into last week, I knew the week would be crazy. I have a work trip coming up and I leave tomorrow. Actually, I'm recording this on a Saturday morning and I'm going to have 3 intense days of work stuff. In addition to that, I was asked to speak at a talk and it was my twins' 15th birthday and the first day of school. So like all of this was happening and I just knew the week was going to be crazy. And what I didn't realize or anticipate was that this audience that I was speaking to this past week was completely different. So it was a talk that had to be tweaked to meet the needs of the audience that I had. And therefore it required a lot more modifications than I expected. And the work stuff was stacked. And then I had this other request that came out of left field. And I knew walking into the week that it was going to be a perfect storm of stuff. And I was talking to my boyfriend. He's like, Karishma, you just know it's going to be one of those weeks. Figure out a plan so that you are able to stay sane and you are able to stay at peace. I've shared in my podcast about my journey in Al-Anon and having had someone who was an alcoholic in my life and being in the rooms of Al-Anon, which is a spiritual program, and learning to find myself in the midst of massive chaos, massive overwhelm, massive anxiety. When you don't know that this person's going to live or die, it is nerve-wracking and it's very easy to be caught in a whirlwind of all about them and all about their emergency, all about their situation, and losing yourself and finding yourself like overly responsible. And that's my go-to, like to get overwhelmed, stressed out, overburdened, and feeling like, oh my God, like the world is coming to an end. And when I'm in my stressed out, overwhelmed situations, that feeling of like not being supported really compounds. So here I was last weekend now, and I'm looking at the week ahead of me and I'm like, what do I need to do? In the past, I would have sort of stepped into, I'll call it victim mode. And I am a victim sometimes. And I think sometimes just labeling it and owning it really helps us. When I'm stressed out, I can be a victim. And a lot of these traits that we have, what we call negative traits, are traits that are passed down from generation to generation. So the victimhood is like, oh my God, I don't have what it takes to do this. Oh my God, woe is me. Oh my God, I can't do it. I can't handle it. I'm not capable of doing it. And like almost being disempowered to be a certain way versus being empowered to do a certain way. And for me, this week was like an opportunity to really get out of that victimhood. Normally I don't work on the weekends. And I was like, what do I need to do? That meant for me taking some time out on Saturday and Sunday to work on my talk. And then I knew there was something that I needed to do for the twins. I had a couple of activities, fun things like Topgolf on Sunday that I'd planned to hang out with my kids, and I invited my parents to it. And the only person really missing in the picture to celebrate the twins were my boyfriend and my ex-husband. So I'm like, okay, can I invite my ex-husband? Yes, I can, to Sunday. And we were supposed to have a dinner on Tuesday. So I'm like, okay, we don't need to have 2 things. Let's have 1 thing. And let's do it on Sunday. My boyfriend was already going to be here the day before the twins' birthday. So I knew there'd be an opportunity for him to be there, for us to cut a cake. So I'm like, okay, like everybody's there that I love to celebrate the kids. And then I also invited my brother to come with his baby and his fiance. And I didn't expect them to come, and they actually ended up coming. So it was actually really cool. Maybe this is a part of me that's just an Indian mom and can be a little bit like feeling like, oh my God, I have to do like all this stuff for my kids. I know I'm conflicted with that. So it was like, instead of like, I have to do this thing for on the kid's birthday, before the kid's birthday, I already had like a birthday celebration for them the day before with their friends from school, I often get into this feeling of like, I have to do this and this and this, and just becomes more and more and more, versus life is showing me more doesn't work for me. It makes me feel special. Maybe it makes me feel important, makes me feel this sense of obligation, all these things that I know I get faced with over and over again. I can just do less and be okay. And it was really cool because I made a decision, I think literally on Saturday, the day before the Top Golf event, which was supposed to be just a hangout, family hangout, nothing more than that. And I literally make a last minute decision. I said, ex-husband, can you come? Yes. Asked my brother, hey, we're going to be there. Can you come? I don't know. I'll try. And everything changed. Empowerment is taking control of my own life. Empowerment is shifting intentionally from chaos to calm, and removing one more thing on Tuesday night was monumental and just allowed me to breathe. And knowing I was able to come into the week, just able to breathe and have some downtime. So Sunday was amazing. My brother came, everybody came, and the twins were really happy. We got to spend time and we got to hang out. We got to see the baby. So that was the birthday family celebration. There was a Tuesday friend celebration for them that I had committed to take them, and it was fun. And, even when we were there, birthday bowling, I was like, I have all this shit to do. And I could sit there with my laptop. I literally took it with me. And I'm like, you know what? What kind of life is this if I can't spend an hour and a half of my life and just bowl with my kids? And they wanted my boyfriend and me to bowl with them. So that was kind of cool. And we had a great time. So it was like really cool to intentionally get out of victimhood, get out of my drama, get out of this overwhelm. Sometimes I know for me makes it where I can't like live my life and enjoy what's in front of me. And the invitation for me specifically this week was, what do I need to do? So like really identifying the top thing. And one thing that really like is a rule of thumb that I use for myself as much as I can remember, and I've helped coach people on, is doing 1 to 2 things a day. We always underestimate how much time things take to get done. What are those like top 1 or 2 things that I must get done today? Period. Not 15 things, but like what is the most important thing? Removing things that are important but not urgent. So for me, it was like, okay, I have a doctor's appointment for a gynecologist, annual checkup. Is this important? Yes. Is this urgent in this crazy ass week? Do I need to do this week? No. Taking that ownership and removing things off my plate that don't serve me today and just postponing them a couple weeks out. Okay, I'm like getting buckets, massive buckets of time back. Okay, what else can I do? I can go to bed earlier and I can wake up a little earlier so I can get an hour and a half of work done in the morning. And it's just a little bit more. On the days I was tired, I allowed myself to take a 20-minute nap, an hour nap. Apparently for me at 5 o'clock is no bueno. The sleep was disrupted, but a half hour nap, 3:34, perfect. Went away, took a nap, like allowed that little reset button, and just really focusing on what was happening in front of me one day at a time. Like just for today, what do I need to do? Just for today, what does it look like to be sane? Just for today, how do I fill myself up? Just for today, how do I honor Karishma? And for me, that meant not removing my workouts, not removing meditation or simple things, not removing a nap if I need it. And I'm not a big napper, but this week I really felt like I need a nap and I'm exhausted. And I took that nap. And that meant that there were a couple of nights I worked till 7:30. I took a nap, I took a break, I went back to work 5:30. 5:30 to 7:30, I needed to work and I worked. And sometimes you just have to do what you need to do, but then not being a victim by it. Whereas a week like this week would have totally, 100% caught me off kilter and I would have been a brat to people around me. I'm owning I can be a brat sometimes. And my boyfriend last night was like, Karishma, you handled this week really well. Given how crazy this week was for you, you handled this week really well. And I was like, wow. And it's rare that I get that kind of feedback because I can be totally type A, totally crazy, totally be reactive sometimes. And to receive that feedback last night, I was like, okay, something that I did worked this week. And I was really just reflecting on what that meant. And it was all these things that I just talked about. And I was like, how amazing is it to receive that kind of feedback? And then when it came to the kids being home, I think every single one of us parents that works from home that has had kids at home over the summer can it gets to the point where it's like, okay, it's time to go back to school. And you need your time back and you need them to be on a routine because there's no routine in the summer. And I just really was feeling into that. And I was like, you know what? I have to let my kids just live their life. I have to let go of that perfectionism. I have to let go of all these expectations. I have to let go of things looking a certain way. And I have to just allow myself to breathe, take the pressure off for being this perfect mom with these perfect kids, being productive and all the things in the summer. And I have to let go of all of that nonsense. And I just have to let them be sometimes. And the more that I can let them go, let go and let God, and I can just focus on myself, focus on what Karishma needs to do right now. Like sometimes you just gotta get shit done. Sometimes you gotta take care of yourself. Sometimes you need a nap. Sometimes you need to order in, whatever that looks like. What does Karishma need right now to be okay? And can I just let everyone off the hook and let them be okay? Can I just accept the blessings that are needed? And I've talked about how hard it has been sometimes for me to accept those blessings. I had to get some sprinkler heads removed or replaced. And yesterday morning, the sprinkler people came, and I was lucky enough to have my boyfriend here. And, I am super grateful. Like my boyfriend, he's very capable. And again, with all the things that are going on, I'm like, hey, babe, can you handle it? A couple of nights dinner. I don't need to know what's for dinner. I know you will pick healthy choices, and he eats far healthier than I do normally. And I was like, can you own it? I don't need to tell you what to do. Can you just take care of it? And he did that with the sprinkler heads. He did that with Tupla dinners as I was working till 7:30. And it was just like, oh my God, this is what it's like to be supported. This is what it's like to be loved. And this is what it looks like to allow someone else to support me. Not the way that I think it needs to happen, to just give them the dignity of stepping into that. And then I got to just appreciate him yesterday and be like, I love you. Thank you so much for being there for me and just loving me in the way that you did, and just taking care of food and taking care of the stuff, which is not his favorite thing to do. And thank you for doing it anyway. And it just made me feel so loved, just being able to share that here. And I get to reflect on this week. And what I would get to reflect on is what was amazing, which was my ability to slow down as much as possible, my ability to show up present as much as possible, my ability to navigate hard things, and to know that I've got what it takes to live my life. Sometimes we underestimate how amazing we are, and we estimate how capable we are. And sometimes things feel like they're too much for us to handle. But God never gives us too much for us to handle. And when things feel too much, we get to step back and discern what needs to happen right now. What do I need to keep? What do I need to let go of? What is mine? What is not mine? What do I have control of? What do I not have control of? And just like the Serenity prayer says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. And there's a lot that I cannot change. The courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That wisdom to know the difference allows me the discernment. And then I get to take that action, that aligned action of stepping into my heart, honoring myself. And the more I honor me, the more I can love the people around me. And I get to show up as the love that I am. So I hope you all found this helpful. And I am grateful for you all for being here. And thank you for listening. Have a great day.